You know, it's weird to think that for something that is so iconic and is so lasting impact with regards to comedy and entertainment, to think that this could have gone south so fast and so badly, yet somehow it went on to be as successful and as monumental to the impact with regards to entertainment. And it's funny to me that it went down like this, or better yet, how the movie depicts it. Either way, it must have been one crazy night for everyone involved.
Just have to make it to air.
Am I still in the show?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, tripped over my penis.
Saturday Night is directed by Jason Reitman and written by Gail King and Jason Reitman. The film has an ensemble cast that includes Gabriel, LaBelle, Rachel Sennott, Cory Michael Smith, Ella Hunt, Dylan O'Brien, Emily Fairn, Matt Wood, Lamorne Morris, Kim Matula, Wolfhard, Nicholas Braun, Cooper Hoffman, Andrew Barth, Feldman, Nicholas Podany, Kaia, Gerber, Robert Wuhl, Tommy Dewey, Catherine Curtin, John Batiste, Willem Dafoe, Paul Russ, Tracy Letts, Matthew Rhys, J.K. Simmons, Garrett, and Josh Brener. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, at 11:30 p.m. on October 11, 1975, a ferocious troupe of young comedians and writers changed television forever. Saturday Night Live, or SNL, as I will be kind of referring it to in this video, it just celebrated its 50th anniversary. It is now considered to be one of the longest running sketch comedy shows of all time. It has had an effect with regards to not just comedy, but just entertainment, because although SNL in so many ways has impacted entertainment with regards to its influence, it has impacted entertainment with regards to the people that were involved. And so many people, in more ways than one, are famous because of this show, whether it be Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Tina Fey, Will Ferrell, Pete Davidson, Kate McKinnon. The list goes on and on. No matter how you feel about SNL, whether you think that it's still funny, whether you think it is not gone well as the years have gone on, regardless, SNL is still a mainstay with regards to comedy as of right now, especially now. So to think that everything could have gone south so badly, because with this movie we are now traveling back to that very night for the very first taping of Saturday Night Live, or as it was called back then, just Saturday Night. I was excited to see this film, and after watching it, I really dug the hell out of this movie. And it inspired me to keep on pursuing my career as a filmmaker. I'm not joking when I say that. In some ways, near the end of this movie, it inspired me to keep on wanting to pursue what I want to do and keep on following my passion and my love for film. I do have one gripe with this movie, okay? Just one gripe. But before giving it, here are the positives that I found. The performances are excellent. Everyone in the cast are top-notch, especially Gabriel, LaBelle as Lorne Michaels, who is the creator and producer of Saturday Night at the time, and still is to this day. Also, most of the cast looks closely like the real-life people. I say closely because maybe some of them don't look exactly 100% identical, but regardless, the casting is just solid throughout this entire movie. And Gabriel LaBelle, man, he is super terrific as Lorne Michaels. Somebody who is ambitious, somebody who has something that he wants to bring to the table, but he's having a hard time trying to convince everyone of what this show is. Throughout this entire movie, everyone is asking him, what is this show even about? What is it? I know you said that it's a comedy show, but what is the plot of this? What is the point of this show? And so he has to try for this entire to keep everyone at bay and trying to keep everything together, because he is trying so hard and so desperately to make his dream a reality, but he's having a hard time with not only the pressures of NBC, but you also have people just constantly asking him throughout this entire night of what this show is supposed to be. And I think Gabriel LaBelle does a good job of balancing both being headstrong and staying confident and as positive as he can be, versus the inner turmoil that he's facing with the pressures of what it takes to make it in this business. The direction is terrific. Director Jason Reitman masterfully captures the chaotic and frantic feeling of getting prepared and rushing to make it to air, delivering a wild night. Jason Reitman, who is of course the son of the late Ivan Reitman, the Ghostbusters director, brings this sense of wild, crazy fun whilst also delivering something that is hilarious, but also inspiring in so many ways with regards to what it took to get this show moving, what got this to where it's at as of right now. And to see Jason Reitman handle this with the sense of urgency and frustration and tension building is, I think, is done so well because of how he is able to handle what it kind of feels like to be put in the spotlight when you're young, when you're impressionable, when you're trying to make a name for yourself, but you have this constant feeling of people doubting you, feeling like you're a failure in so many ways, and also trying to find the sense of humor with regards to the situation that everyone finds themselves in. And I think Jason Reitman does an amazing job of balancing out the comedy as well as the tension that is filled throughout this entire movie. The cinematography is exciting. Cinematographer Eric Steelberg showcases a claustrophobic, frustrating, and crazy feeling of what that night looked like, doing a good job of balancing out everyone's screen time. I was surprised that they were able to capture everyone in this entire movie pretty well. At least for like the main ones you focus on, I'm surprised that they were able to capture all of it. But the feeling of being at NBC in one of their studios, seeing the rooms that everyone's in, seeing the sets, seeing the production of it all, it's incredible to me on how much Eric Spielberg was able to capture the feeling of not just what the 70s kind of were at the time, but also just the feeling of being on that night, or at the very least feeling the pressure of what Lorne Michaels has to deal with and the crazy shenanigans that were going on and the mishaps and problems that they were having. And so to see him capture that pretty well throughout most of this movie was actually astonishing to me, because I didn't think that they would be able to pull that off, especially for a huge ensemble cast like this. I was completely surprised that he was able to pull that off. The production is incredible. Everything looks like it would look from the 1970s. Costumes and sets showcase the attention to detail from the entire production team. They clearly did their research. They did their homework. They understood this project, and they understood what it took to make this and recreate the look of what the first taping of SNL would look like, or with regards to the production for the sets as well as the camera operating. I think I remember seeing a video where I believe it was Jason Reitman or somebody, they said that they had to kind of teach the actors who are in the film to know how to operate the equipment, because of course that is equipment that's no longer in use anymore. So they had to kind of train them on this is how this equipment would be used and how it was being effective with regards to capturing what the sketch comedy show is supposed to be like. And I also think they did an incredible job with regards to the costumes, how everyone looks and how they all feel. And I think it's done superbly because of the dedication to making this feel as authentic as it can be. It can. I say can, because I'm not saying that is 100% accurate, because again, this is a movie after all. I don't know what is considered to be true or not. I'm just taking it for what I'm seeing. The music is intense. Composer John Batiste, who is in the film, makes a score that keeps building throughout the film. He manages to keep the audience in suspense. How the music is played in this movie feels almost like how the music in SNL would be played, jazz, and ramping up the tension in so many areas, that I think it's done so well with capturing the feeling of the pressure that Lorne Michaels is facing, what he has to deal with, what he has to constantly be tooling around and trying to run amok with regards to what he's got to do to get this show up and running and get it on the air, so that way it doesn't feel like he completely wasted everyone's time. As much as all the execs and everyone higher up believe that this is a huge waste of time, as the movie states. And so with that music, it adds a sense of pressure that's building and building to one disaster after another. When you think things couldn't get possibly worse or things couldn't get crazy, John Batiste keeps that with regards to keeping it building and building each time another disaster happens on the set. The writing is tight. Writers Gil King and Jason Reitman crafts a script that's funny and insightful with every conversation. One of the most well put together scripts that I have seen this year, and it's funny because this is coming from two guys that were involved this year in the fifth Ghostbusters film, which I found to be very disappointing. So for them to actually make something that is as well tight, it kind of makes me look back at Ghostbusters and I think to myself, man, I feel like you guys didn't put a lot of effort in that, because in here you put a lot of effort into making the script as tight as it can be and as fluent as it is, because of how well thought out this film was with regards to how they wanted this movie to be. The story is inspiring. Seeing how the first SNL episode was electrifying, hilarious, and inspirational. This truly is, I think, one for anyone that wants to be in entertainment to be inspired by. Watching this movie, I felt the same way. I was just feeling that pressure alongside Lorne Michaels and everyone in the cast. What is working and what isn't working, what they need to take out. And for Lorne Michaels to have gone through that must have been very, very difficult. But it is also a very tall tale for those out there who look at this and see what show business really is like. Very tough, it's very scary, it's very much you're in this big pool with so many top dogs at the head of it, and you are just a little fish to them with regards to impressing them and making a big impression. And for this movie story to really capture that feeling of making it in show business, I think is incredible to see. Editing is snappy, each scene is quickly put together, that it feels engaging, keeps the film going. It doesn't feel like the editing is choppy or all messed up. It always knows when to cut it, when to exactly snap to the next scene, or when to quickly transition into something else. It's done very well. This has to be one of the best edits I've seen for this year on how this movie is put together. The theme is heartfelt. Having a message of making your idea come to fruition against all odds is one that gives hope to people out there. No matter who you are, stay true to yourself and do your best. That is what this movie is pretty much telling you. Against all odds, no matter who's trying to put you down, no matter who's trying to deny you your success, or at the very least trying to deny your idea, no matter what they throw at you, you should always stay true to yourself. You should always try to put in the effort with regards to changing and evolving and adapting, but really, I think at the end of the day, I think it's really just stay true to yourself. Don't let executives and higher ups drain you from your worth, because if you think it's worth it, it's worth taking a risk, taking a gamble, and actually pulling off something that you think can work. And if it doesn't, that's all right. You did your best. That's what it all comes down to. That's what anybody could ever ask for. And I think that's a good message for this movie to have for younger, inspiring artists out there who want to make it, or at the very least be seen and be heard. Everything falls in place, but there's one aspect of this movie that stops it from being perfect. It's just one thing. If this one thing didn't hold it, I think this would be a perfect movie. So here is the only negative. The pacing and runtime I do think is a bit long. Each scene feels like it's dragging on a bit longer than it needs to be. With a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes, I don't think this needed to be near 2 hours. I think this could have sold if this was like, if you ask me, an hour and 30 or an hour and 35. I don't think this needed to be close to 2 hours, because I just feel like they wanted to extend this movie out to being 2 hours with regards to how monumental this was. But I do feel like by doing that, you're kind of extending the feeling of the night to where you just kind of feel like it does start to feel like it is dragging a bit with regards to certain scenes in certain areas. Not editing wise, I'm talking about just how the scene is flowing. It does feel like it does drag a bit with regards to getting the point across. Fascinating and engaging film that will keep audiences glued to the screen, making for a fun time. Regardless on what you feel like its beginnings, regardless on if this is fiction or not, it's very much insightful. It's very inspiring. It's very much something that I think people like me strive for, or at the very least see and are hopeful that maybe I can make something with regards to what I want to do with my life. And to see this movie show me that, yes, it's hard work, it can be exhausting, but it's well worth it. And no matter what people try to do to bring you down, you're going to be okay. You do your best, you try your best. That's all you could ever ask for. I am going to give Saturday Night a 9 out of 10. I think it's an amazing film. It's easily, I think, one of my favorites of the year. I found myself very much engaging with this entire movie and found myself really, by the end, just hopeful for somebody like me. Because Lorne Michaels and half of that entire cast of SNL can still go on to do amazing things, then maybe there's success for me. So now I will have my review for the Venom films leading up to Venom: The Last Dance, and soon October can be over. So yes, look forward to those reviews and other movie TV show reviews coming soon.